Hello and welcome. Today I want to talk about and show you all of my recent favorite products, mainly makeup. At the same time, I wanted to just kind of show you how I do this type of a look that has become a real go-to type of look, just really fresh, natural skin with a little bit of warmth and bronziness, a lot of glow, just a lovely fresh look. So if you'd like to see all of my recent favorites as well as how I put this whole look together, just keep on watching. I'm going to start off actually with the couple of products that I didn't use in this video, and then I'll get into everything I used, and I have footage of me applying everything that I used today. The first thing that I didn't use today but I still wanted to talk about was the Dior Forever Concealer. It's the Forever Skin Correct Concealer. I have it in the shade 0N. I bought this several months ago, but it was much too dark for my winter skin, but I've been using self-tanner a little bit more lately now that the weather has become warmer. And this has really found a place in my everyday routine now that my skin is just a little bit darker and can handle this shade. So this is a great neutral shade. As I said, it's 0N. And it just does a really good job of covering as much as I want it to cover on my face, while also adding a really beautiful finish. It's a really nice kind of creamy, radiant finish that it gives me, and it wears really well throughout the day. I never find I have any issues with it bunching or kind of pulling off. It's gorgeous on the skin, and it's unscented too, which is another nice thing. I've been using this just as an all-over base product more so than as a concealer paired with any type of foundation or anything. I'll have to try that in the future and play around with different applications more, but the way I've been loving it is just as kind of an all-over complexion product. I just put it where I need the coverage and blend it out, and it works really, really nicely. So that's a great one. Another favorite has been the Auric lip balm. It's the Plush Ritual Ceramide Lip Treatment. They have only one shade now, which is the shade Bare, and I can't show it to you because I've completely used this up. This was really lovely. I tended to use this more in the evening as my nighttime lip balm, but I would also just apply it throughout the day as needed. It does a really beautiful job of hydrating the lips. It feels so luxurious and really does feel plush on the lips. And the scent is lovely as well. Warm vanilla type of fragrance, maybe a little bit chocolatey. My nephew smelled it and he said it smelled like chocolate milk or hot chocolate. So it's just a really lovely, rich, sweet scent. I've not repurchased this yet. I definitely would repurchase it, but it's very expensive. I realized when I went through this so quickly, I looked at the amount of product. You only get 3 grams of product in this jar, and it's $32 Canadian for 3 grams. So that actually makes the price per gram of this more expensive than the By Terry Balm de Rose, which is kind of my gold standard favorite lip balm, but also my example of an extremely expensive lip balm. And this is gram for gram much more expensive even than that one. So I haven't repurchased it. I have a few other lip balms I can work through, but it's definitely one that I would repurchase, and it's a real treat to use that product. And then before we get into all the makeup that I'm wearing, the only other thing I wanted to mention was the Tan Luxe tanning drops. So I have the Tan Luxe, the Body Illuminating Self-Tan Drops. That's these ones. They come in a little bit of a bigger bottle. And I have the shade Medium Dark for those. And then I also have the face drops, and I have these in light medium. So I have a bit of a lighter shade in those ones. And these have been what I've been using to just warm up and tan up my skin a little bit. I really don't tan at all naturally. So I just find that these are so easy to use. I just mix a few drops in with my body moisturizer for the body and my face moisturizer for the face drops. And it just gives a really easy way to get a self-tan. I usually apply these in the morning after a shower, and then in the evening before I go to bed, I'll have a shower and wash everything off. They do have that self-tan smell. I think it's impossible to use a self-tanning product like this and not get that fake tan smell, but I find that this is a little bit milder and more tolerable than some others. I used to use the Isle of Paradise drops, and I found that they had a little bit of a stronger smell than these ones, and I just find them really convenient and easy to use. Okay, so now into what's actually on my face today. I do have the self-tanner working on me today actually, which is why I'm wearing this shirt. This is my self-tanning shirt. So now into actually what's on my face today. I wanted to start with the Chanel Green Corrector. I've decided that I prefer this to the NYX one. I find that this one hasn't dried up as quickly as the NYX one did. I find it's exactly the same as when I first opened the bottle. The NYX one I found did dry out after a few weeks of use, but I still use it. I'll mix it in with moisturizer and stuff like that. I prefer this one for that aspect, but also just the way it works on my skin. I find it acts more like a true concealer, where it's actually adding a bit of coverage and it's really blurring and perfecting the skin, where I don't necessarily find that with the NYX. The NYX to me is more of just a true color corrector. It's correcting the color, but it's not really adding anything else special at the same time. Well, I find that the Chanel one does. So today I applied this with my Auric Glow Lust. I just mixed the two together and applied it all over my face. And then I went in with my next favorite, which is the Ritual Defy Luminous Elixir 3-Drop Foundation. I believe this is fully out of stock right now. This was bought as a lab sample, but they'll be bringing out the official product hopefully before too long, and I really highly recommend this to anyone who's interested in it. It gives a beautiful light to medium coverage, I would say, but it just does so much for the skin. It makes my skin look so much better, but still like skin. It really smooths things out. I wouldn't say it's blurring because it's more of a dewy kind of texture, but it just smooths everything, evens everything out, and you need so little of this product to give a really nice result. So I've really been loving that, and it's a real go-to everyday type of base for me. After I did my foundation, I went in with the Lisa Eldridge Pink Moon Elevated Glow Highlighter. I've been loving using this actually as an under eye corrector and then just kind of spreading it all over my cheeks and anywhere else that I want that little bit of extra illumination. So I'll often put it above my brows, my Cupid's bow, and then sometimes just the excess that's on the brush after blending it out under my eyes and on my cheeks, I'll apply down the bridge of my nose and on my chin a little bit. Just gives such a beautiful, fresh glow that makes the skin look very healthy and awake. And I went in with a little bit of powder. I've been loving the Kosas powder lately. I've had this for quite a while, over a year now. It's the Cloud Set powder. I have the shade AIry. It's the lightest shade, and it just shows up mainly like a translucent powder. I don't find it adds too much color or coverage, but it does a really good job of blurring and just toning down the shine right where you want it to. I actually didn't really set under my eyes because I wanted to maintain that glow from the Lisa Eldridge, and this has just been my go-to powder lately. It's really great. My component broke a long time ago. I can't remember if I dropped it or if it just kind of came apart, but I still love this product. Next up, I went in with the Monika Blunder cover. I have this in the lightest shade, which is the shade 1. I did use this quite a while back, but I just wanted to kind of update on this and let you know my preferred way to use it. You can definitely use this as an all-over complexion product, but I found this to be most effective and really does its best work when I use it just as kind of an additional product to touch up, to add a little bit of extra coverage. I especially like it applied just with my fingers. So I actually used this as my under eye concealer today, and it worked really well with the Pink Moon highlighter because this has also a nice dewy radiant finish and looks really natural on the skin. So I just went in with my ring finger and just kind of patted it under the eyes, and then went into any additional areas where I wanted some more coverage. So around the corners of my mouth where I have a little bit of redness and healing blemishes around my chin. And I find that's how this product really shines. It's the perfect type of product for that type of work, in my opinion. So that's my favorite way to use it. And it's just so easy and really melts into the skin in a really beautiful way. Now, an instant favorite that I've only gotten recently is the Nars Laguna Bronzing Cream. I have this in the shade 01, the lightest shade, and I've been wearing this almost every day since I got it. This is just such a pleasure to apply. There's a lot of makeup that works really well and looks really beautiful on the skin, but to me it's extra special when it's something that the whole experience of applying it is really a pleasure, and that's definitely the case with this. I love this really summery, bronzy packaging, and there's just something about dunking my brush into this and just sort of blurring it and blending it all over my cheeks and forehead that just gives me so much pleasure, and I love the way that this looks. I really enjoy the shade of this. It's a lovely neutral shade. It's still warming and a little bit yellowish, but much more neutral, I find, than a lot of other bronzers. The texture of it is just beautiful. It really blurs the skin, and I find that it actually adds a little bit of coverage at the same time. So rather than kind of like mixing in with your foundation or lifting it even, this really just kind of sits on top beautifully and kind of sinks in as time goes on, but gives this beautiful blurring little bit of coverage that just looks really perfected on the skin. The blush I've been going to most lately is the Victoria Beckham Cheeky Posh Cream Blush Stick in the shade Knickers. This is a really nice kind of almost like a cantaloupe type shade. It's definitely a peach, but it's a little bit more of a yellowy peach, and I love this shade so much. I think it looks really beautiful. It adds brightness, but not too much because it's still a pretty light shade, and just gives a really nice kind of springy, summery type of glow to the skin, which is lovely. For eyes, I've been reaching for my Hindash Monochromance palette quite a lot lately, particularly these two shades right here. These have really been my go-tos. I haven't been dipping into the colors that much, but these neutrals have been my absolute favorite for my eyes lately. So sometimes I'll start off with a base of a cream bronzer or a cream eyeshadow stick in a neutral tone, and then I'll go over it with these powders. Today I just used the powders and it worked really beautifully. I just have a fully matte look today, and it was really easy and quick to do, and I just love the effect. The tones are perfectly neutral to me. They're a little bit on the warmer side of neutral, I think, but they just work perfectly for me, where they don't look too warm and orangey, but they don't look too cool and stark either. They're really, really those perfect shades for me. And I just love the way they kind of enhance the eyes, look really natural and soft at the same time. I've also been loving the Wander Beauty Upgraded Lashes Mascara. This just gives such a kind of wide open, really bright-eyed look, which I don't really get with any other mascaras. I find this unique in the way it makes my lashes look. And I just like that very fresh, kind of wide-eyed, fluttery kind of lash look that I get with this mascara. Another product I've been loving is the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter. This one is a little sample size that I got months and months ago, but it's still going strong. I do actually have a mini that I bought in the last Sephora sale, but I haven't had to go into it yet because I'm still getting quite a lot out of this little sample. This holds up my brows like no other brow gel. It's much better to me than the Anastasia Brow Freeze, which never really fully sets down and doesn't hold the brows quite in place quite as well as this one. This one really sets them down. Like there's a little bit of that kind of crunchy feel when I touch them, but they don't look crunchy at all. They just look really nice and groomed, and I love the kind of fluffy look that I'm able to achieve with my brows with this. And last but not least, Westman Atelier Lip Suede in Les Nudes. I bought this when it came out last year and I liked it, but it didn't become a go-to product for me then like it has now. I just pulled it out a few weeks ago and I've been using it all the time, every day. I would think of it more as kind of tinted balms rather than lipsticks, because all of these shades are quite sheer, but they moisturize the lips at the same time and give a really beautiful, again, almost kind of a blurred effect on the lips. And I just love that I can customize the color that I get, but it always gives me a really natural looking color at the same time. Feels great on the lips. Again, those more natural colors just really suit the whole aesthetic of this type of a look that I've been enjoying with the kind of more fresh-faced, summery, warm, glowy makeup. Those are all of my recent favorites. Let me know if you have any questions or comments below. Let me know what some of your favorites have been recently. I'd love to hear about that. If you'd like to see more from me and you haven't subscribed to my channel already, I would love for you to do so. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.